The Gospel is from Matthew chapter 11, verse 2 to 15. When John heard in prison about the deeds of the Christ, he sent word by his disciples and said to him, "Are you the one who is to come, or shall we look for another?" And Jesus answered them, "Go and tell John what you hear and see. The blind receive their sight, and the lame walk. Lepers are cleansed, and the deaf hear, and the dead are raised up, and the poor have good news preached to them. And blessed is the one who is not offended by me." As they went away, Jesus began to speak to the crowds concerning John. "What did you go out into the wilderness to see? A reed shaken by the wind? What then did you go out to see? A man dressed in soft clothing? Behold, those who wear soft clothing are in kings' houses. What then did you go out to see? A prophet? Yes, I tell you, and more than a prophet. This is he of whom it is written, 'Behold, I send my messenger before your face, who will prepare your way before you.' Truly I say to you, among those born of women, there has arisen no one greater than John the Baptist. Yet the one who is least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he. From the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven has suffered violence, and the violent take it by force. For all the prophets and the law prophesied until John, and if you are willing to accept it, he is Elijah who is to come. He who has ears to hear, let him hear."
Thank you. Okay, got our mic situation worked out. This is fantastic. I was trying to think of a moment of great joy. When do people celebrate great joy? You know, where there's just the excitement in the air and all of that. And I was thinking of maybe when a child is born. You know, when your child is born, everyone says, "Oh, it's the greatest moment in my life." You know, it's so exciting. The joy and the excitement of a child being born, that could be one. Another one, maybe more milder, would be like the first memory you have of Christmas morning, coming down to open presents, the tree's lit up, there's presents under the tree, and, you know, all of that excitement. And joy would be a perfect example. Recently, I've been pulled into this World Cup thing, soccer. I am not a soccer fan, I'm telling you right now. Do not shoot me. I'm not a soccer fan. I know some of you are really soccer fans. But it's just amazing. You go to the sports store and the TVs are going and they're showing the, you know, matches and everything. I was at a restaurant and there it was, and they were doing the penalty kicks, right? In the quarterfinals, and it was just like crazy to watch this thing. You go 90 minutes in a whole match, and it comes down to penalty kicks? What? And the team will come up, they'll line up, and they'll kick a goal, and it'll go in, and they'll start crying. "Oh, it's the greatest thing ever," you know, and then the other team will get up and then they'll kick and they miss a goal and they're like, start crying. "Oh, it's the worst thing ever happened." So they cry either way. And it's just, they pan to the crowd, right? And the losing crowd, like they fold their hands like there's a death in the family, like everything just died a moment ago, you know? Right? And they show the team that, you know, wins, and they're like, the heavens are open. The rain has fallen on this drought. It's the greatest thing ever. And people are jumping up and down at the bars. It's excitement. It's joy. That was my example. Anyway, I'm fascinated by it because I don't think they're really excited about, why are we so excited about sports? Any sport of any team. I think there's an excitement about being excited. That's what I really think it is. And be patient with this for a minute. I'm not trying to say that sports are, you know, not exciting. I love sports. I watch them all the time. But I think there's sort of like, we follow our sport because we want to chase the excitement of the big win. That's why we go to sporting events, because we want to like be excited and we want to experience the joy. It's fun. But more importantly, and this always gets missed, people don't talk about this part, we get to experience the joy with other people. Sports is not something you do in isolation. You're not a sports fan by yourself. You wear the jerseys so other people see that, I know, isn't it awesome? It's a togetherness thing. It's a fellowship. It's a community. Being a sports fan is not about being alone. You're a part of a team. You're a part of a group. In today's gospel lesson, John sends his disciples to see about Jesus. He wants to know, is Jesus legit, or should we wait for the other guy, whoever that is? Are you the one, or should we wait for another? And Jesus responds, do you see great things happening in front of you? Can you hear the roar of the crowd? Can you see the big winds that are happening on the ground? The evidence speaks for itself. I'm blown away every year by people who are naysayers when it comes to Christmas. The kind of people who poo-poo the Christmas season. Do you have people in your life like this? Friends, maybe family members? They just like, oh, Christmas. I don't know. We don't celebrate Christmas. We don't believe that Jesus is real. I know there's people who say that. There's people who say that. This is not even that rare, right? There's really not enough evidence for us to believe, right? They do this. It's strange to hear. No evidence? What? It's like going into this massive football stadium, right? Like, can you imagine if I went into this massive 150,000 fans? Is this mic on? Is this mic on? And I went out there and I said, hey, everybody, this is ridiculous. You've been here 90 minutes. It's a tie. And they're doing penalty kicks. This is dumb, right? This isn't real. It's just entertainment. What would happen if I did that in the middle of a stadium? I'd probably get killed in some countries, right? It would be crazy. It's nuts. It's crazy to think about being in that setting and saying that to a large group of people that are really fans and are enjoying the whole excitement of it. It's like going to a massive world population over 2,000 years and saying Christmas isn't real. It's just a made-up story. You have to really work to avoid Christmas, don't you? To suppress the joy that comes from the season. You have to work hard at that. You have to really put blinders on and block that from your consciousness. You have to work against the beauty that comes from the season, the joy that the Christmas season brings. They've actually made movies about this, right? The Grinch and Ebenezer Scrooge, right? And they're funny, right? Those characters are really funny because why would anyone be like that? It's so odd, outrageous, and unusual to fight against the joy of Christmas. Who would deny or suppress such joy? Can't you see how wonderful Christmas is? And I would add a little bit and join the passage this morning. Just add a little bit and join the passage. Can't you see the beauty and magnificence of Jesus Christ as well? Isn't the evidence of Jesus Christ's grace and unconditional love everywhere and obvious? Isn't it obvious to everyone who is willing to open their eyes to the history and the gift of Christmas? Even the extra story that's not directly about Jesus, but has to do with God's grace and unconditional love for the world. Do you know that story of the Catholic saint? Pastor who gives gifts to children, plays a significant theological role in the communication of the gospel. Gift giving among parents is one thing. It's not even really that special. They're your kids, you're biased. Of course you're going to give gifts to your kids. You love them, they're your kids. Right? But a third-party priest, a man of God who gives gifts and communicates God's grace and unconditional love, helps us or even bridges us at a young age to interpret and see God's grace in a unique and special way. Yes, I'm talking about Santa Claus. You're like, is he talking about Santa? Yes, I'm talking about Santa. But of course, you're going to hear in the playground and on the street that Santa's not real. That's what some people are going to say. Of course Santa Claus is real. But for some reason along our journey, somewhere along the timeline, we lose that relationship. We're robbed of the joy that comes from Christmas morning. We lose the excitement and the big win and the message behind the message. The joy of Christmas is the incarnation of God made flesh in Jesus Christ. God shows up in our world, in our life, and communicates his love for us. God shows us through the gift of his Son, Jesus Christ, just how valuable we are, how much we matter to him. And when we experience that Christmas joy, when we experience that Christmas excitement, we want to share it with others. We want others to experience it too. Just drive around your neighborhood at night and see the joy lit up all around you. Witness all the fans of the Christ celebration season, which is Christmas. Christmas time is near. The joy of Christ's presence is growing. The excitement is building toward the great when, where God entered our world, where God entered our situation and dwelt among us. The great Emmanuel, which is what that means, God with us. Many people would say, well, Christmas is the result of the Christian faith. You know, that's why there's Christmas, because of Christians. It's the Christian people that make Christmas what it is. And I would flip that around a bit. Turn that on its head and say that the Christian faith is a result or the product of Christmas. It's Christmas that drives the Christian faith. The joy and the excitement of God with us. Don't let anyone steal that joy away from you this season. Amen?